You want to know the latest on the forecast, so we're going to get back to our team of meteorologists. We've got Chesley McNeil standing by for us this morning with what's happening right now, Chesley.
Take a look at this our Georgia Tech camera in Midtown where it's iced over. So you know what that means, right? Yep, it's cold on the outside, folks, and the wind is out there as well. You can still see the raindrops hitting the lens, but it's all iced over, so we can't see the city in the background. This would be Bobby Dodd Stadium right down here. You'd see the buildings there. Just can't see it. You have to just take my word for it. It's out there, but of course, a little bit cold where we're seeing that freezing rain come down, and on elevated surfaces is where we're starting to see that begin to stick. Been watching the highway here, and cars have been steadily coming by, not very many, of course, but they've been getting by on these overpasses. See how the bridge there, and you get the air that goes under that. Typically, you get these surfaces that will freeze first when it comes to roads. And so we're going to show you the road temperatures in just a few, but this is where you would expect to see some freezing. So we parked our camera right here just to see if that would be the case, and that people go by, maybe they slow down, or maybe they'd need some help to get out of this area. But so far, so good. And you can see the wind blowing around as well, and how that's bouncing the camera just a little bit. Typically, wind is a drying agent for us, and we're not expecting it to be more drying than it will be colding, or actually making that temperature feel much colder out there, and so not going to be the case for today. Again, showing your radar, we are looking at that icing taking place where the freezing rain is coming down. Started around the midnight hour up here toward the north and east. It was very spotty, of course, and then as that moisture began to build in our area, it started just to take hold. The wedge began to sink a little bit further down to the south, and so been freezing rain and sleet for a good bit of time here, almost 5 hours now in this area, and much more to go. As you can see back down to the south of us, as more of that wet weather continues to build from the south, we'll continue to slide further off to the north, and so we'll continue to watch that. Again, this is a part of a bigger system, folks, that stretches all the way back to the west and all the way up toward the northeast. In fact, the area of low pressure that Nicole has been telling you about will slide through our area and then head further off toward the northeast, so it's going to keep the winter conditions up there into the northeast. And so if you have gotten stuck here in Atlanta and you're waiting for a flight up toward, let's say, Newark, or you're going to Jersey, or you're going somewhere up into western New York, or even Ohio, you may be here for a little while, as you may get caught. You may just get caught, right? We know that the icing is taking place here. Even got reports of icing taking place at the airports as well, or at the Hartsfield-Jackson. So yeah, this may be a while. This may be a while. Expecting this freezing rain to continue right on through the morning hours into mid-morning. It will start to break up just a little bit, where we'll get some holes in here, and we'll have some scattered freezing rain taking place, no doubt with some sleet in some spots. Mainly has been further over toward the east. We got the sleet reports in Hall County, over into Banks County as well, and then further over toward the east, the Athens area as well. We've been showing you some of those shots, especially up into Hall County, where that sleet has accumulated on the roads. And Grace just showed us where she was able to take her boot and just kind of slide it along the road there. That's where it has been accumulating, at least on some of the roads, and certainly on the elevated surfaces where that freezing rain has begun to take hold as well. And so some sleet and freezing rain mixing in some spots where you have all freezing rain. Places like Atlanta right now, it's all freezing rain so far, and then a little bit further down to the south as well, mainly over toward Henry County. I've been seeing that in some spots. Zooming in here a little bit here, where we're expecting to see the higher totals, I'd say from Clayton all the way down through Juneau. Mossy Creek would be included in that. Also Gainesville, maybe even down as far as northern Gwinnett County into Beaufort, where we could see a ½ inch of ice, certainly in these areas, isolated up to an inch of ice, which could be catastrophic for those areas, especially once that ice starts to accumulate and it gets that heavy, or gets that much accumulation. It will really start to turn heavy. It will weigh those power lines down. And of course, a lot of tree damage could be found in this particular area. Back down toward the city, we're looking at a ¼ of an inch to a ½ inch. And so it has been coming down here for at least 3 hours now, over toward Atlanta, over toward Redan, down toward Forest Park, especially northern parts of Henry County, down toward the Stockbridge area, over toward Covington as well, where we heard reports of a couple trees down in that particular area. Just now getting into Dallas, into Paulding County. In fact, it may even be mixing with rain as it continues to fall over toward the Ackworth area, down through Douglasville. You go a little further to the west of that, say along I-20, headed out toward Villa Rica. You're looking at mainly rain that far to the west, and that's the way it's been in our westernmost counties so far. Still got a ways to go with this, all right? And again, this is a huge system. I want to widen this out for you just a little bit, just to show you how massive this system is. It's not just us, but you'll be dealing with this right on through much of the southeast into the northeast as well. A very huge system. When you're looking at the snow, you're talking about snow now in Dallas, which we showed you a live shot there of the roads covered in snow. Up toward the Memphis area, it has been mixing. Started out as snow yesterday morning, and now you're looking at some mixing taking place. No doubt that will taper off as snow. St. Louis, Cincinnati, up toward Washington, D.C., New York, now starting to get on some of that snow as well. The crazy thing about what's happening up here toward the northeast, when you get to Washington, Baltimore, Philly, and up toward New York, eventually, they will get in on some of this freezing rain as well on top of all the snow that they're expected to receive. I believe it's somewhere between 6 to 10 inches of snowfall, and then you're going to get some freezing rain on top of that because that area of low pressure will start to pull to the north. And as Nicole mentioned, that warmer air will start to surge in. So a lot of what you're seeing here from Virginia up toward, which will eventually get up into Boston, will start to change over to a mix that will take place, maybe even some rain, especially along the eastern seaboard there. But a very massive system. You still have snow from this system out toward Albuquerque in New Mexico. And so that's how far this thing stretches and will be with us pretty much through the day today and into tomorrow up toward the northeast. Here are the actual air temperatures. And you see we're down into the 20s in places like Athens and over toward Gainesville, 28 right now in Canton, 29 up into Clayton. This is that wedge we were telling you about, and we're going to be watching to see if that erodes or how quickly it erodes. And we keep talking about that because we really want it to happen, right? As those temperatures begin to warm up. We do think it will happen as far as the erosion of the of that pooling air over into Atlanta, but how far north will it get? Will it stick around? That's the questions that we're going to have for the rest of the afternoon. Nicole and I looking very closely at that. That's one of our focuses for today, at least, to see when will that erode? When will that finally get out of the way where that warm air will start to move in? Certainly, we'll be watching for it as far as any severe weather goes, and that could be down into places like LaGrange, down toward Thomaston. Some of those thunderstorms could hold together and maybe produce some very gusty winds. Speaking of the winds will start to pick up. Nicole's going to talk about that in a minute as well. Here are the road temperatures out there. By and large, for our area, we're above the freezing mark. You go up toward 400, along 400 up toward Beaufort, they're down to about 30 right there. And then up toward Rayburn, where you're expected to be, 31 degrees along Route 76 there. Everywhere else, even in the Blue Ridge, you got road temperatures up there around 36 over toward Adairsville along 75. You're looking at 35 degrees. And of course, once you get down toward the city and southward, you get those higher temperatures there. And then over toward the east as well, I-20 headed over toward Augusta, looking at a 37 degree road temperature. We'll be watching these as well to see if they begin to fall. But Nicole's going to walk us through what we can expect for the rest of the day.
Yes, Chesley, and we've still got multiple hours of some of this freezing rain ahead of us. I was just checking out a lot of our GDOT cameras of the road conditions up into, especially towards as you get closer to Lake Lanier, and things are already starting to look very icy in some of those spots, with really kind of a bullseye at this point up towards the northeast of the city that stretches from far northeastern Cherokee County out towards Forsyth, White, Hall counties, where we're already seeing some of that accumulating ice on the roadways. Down towards the city, not yet starting to see kind of slick roads, but our temperatures have been hovering right around the freezing point, and that freezing rain will continue to fall through the next few hours. So our forecast track does have freezing rain and, yes, below or near freezing temperatures as we get closer to the sunrise, so 7, 8 a.m. That warmer air that Chesley mentioned will try to work in from the southwest as we get into the later hours of the morning, so we'll start to see some milder temperatures, especially into our far southern counties. It's going to be a pretty dramatic swing, though, when you compare temperatures across the state. We'll see some spots down towards the south of the city into Troup, Meriwether counties that climb into the 40s or even the 50s this afternoon. Meanwhile, there will be spots up towards the northeast of the city that stay right around freezing, and that's why we'll see such a large array of ice accumulation totals. Our forecast track still has the Atlanta metro right around the freezing point by 9 o'clock this morning, so we still could see additional ice accumulation as well as some of that freezing rain coming down. As we get closer to lunchtime, temperatures in the city out towards the west, down towards the south, south climb above freezing as a line of heavier rain arrives, but out towards the northeast of the city, temperatures are still either at or below freezing, which means additional ice accumulation there. Now, as this main line of showers comes through, we're anticipating at times some very heavy rainfall, some rumbles of thunder. This will come through pretty swiftly, so it'll be in and out of here pretty quick as far as the heavier rain is concerned. And then behind it, some showers will still linger as we get closer to dinner time. But once that moves through, precipitation is done. As far as these showers and storms are concerned, they will come with a very low end risk for severe weather, especially down towards our southern counties where temperatures are a little bit warmer, warm enough to perhaps sustain some stronger storms. The main severe weather threat, though, is going to be down towards the south of us into portions of southern Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, as well as southwestern Georgia. We'll be watching for an isolated storm that could bring some very gusty winds, but otherwise, again, our severe weather threat is very low. I mentioned that warmer air coming in. It all has to do with this front, the area of low pressure that's currently pushing in all of this moisture. That area of low pressure is where we have some of the coldest temperatures. So this managed to swing just up to the north of us, which helped us avoid any big dramatic cool downs, but it also is close enough where we're still seeing those below freezing temperatures and additional freezing rain. As this moves off towards the east, it'll pull in some slightly milder air from the Gulf, allowing those temperatures to warm up just as the line of showers and storms associated with this cold front comes through. Behind that cold front, it will open the door for this Arctic air up towards the north to swing down and bring temperatures even colder as we get into tomorrow morning. The cold air really comes in tonight and tomorrow morning. So we drop down into the 20s and the teens. What this means is that anything that does manage to fall, even in the form of rainfall, if there is still water left on the ground tonight as these temperatures fall, it will flash freeze and lead to additional ice, black ice, on Monday morning. So just because the sun comes out on Monday morning doesn't necessarily mean we're free of any dangers associated with the ice, because any of the water left on the ground will refreeze, and in spots that didn't really manage to get all that far above freezing, we will still see additional ice on the roads and of course on trees, power lines. Our temperatures will be cold, and that will allow for some very cold wind chill factors when you get our winds in there as well. We're talking wind chill values into the teens as well as the single digits. Our winds are already breezy in a lot of spots, and we'll continue to see wind gusts up to about 20, 25 miles per hour. As our main line of showers and storms comes through later this afternoon, we could even be talking wind gusts up to 30 or 35 miles per hour. So especially in spots where we have still ice accumulation on trees and on power lines, that's where we will see that potential for downed trees, downed power lines, and yes, that risk of additional power outages, even as the precipitation, the freezing rain, that wintry mix has kind of subsided. So we'll be watching very closely for that risk of down trees and down power lines, even once that freezing rain and that wintry mix has come to an end later tonight and into tomorrow morning, because wind gusts will still remain on the high side, Chesley. So things are really just getting started as far as our ice accumulation is concerned. Chesley?
All right. Thanks a lot, Nicole. Really appreciate that. We talked about that cold air coming in, folks. The effects of this winter storm is underway as we speak. It's just going to begin to add up. We're talking about a lot of accumulation on the roads out there and on our elevated surfaces as well. Take a look at this. This is up into Hall County. In fact, southern portions of Hall County. They're Gainesville, actually. You're talking about Sardis Road there and Route 53. Right there between Sardis Creek and also Chesley River is over by this way as well. And so what is that on the roads right there? Now, this looks like snow. I'm not going to kid you at all. If you look at the roads, and you can see some of that piling up. Now, this could very well be sleet. Not being there doesn't aid, of course, in that. But you can see that something is piling up on the roads there. And obviously, there's been some cars that have ran through this particular area. But you can also see that wind blowing whatever's falling there around a little bit as well. And so this is what you're going to run into, which is what you don't want to run into. But if you're out there on the roads, of course, you will get sidetracked, to say the least. I don't care what kind of car you drive, on ice, slick roads, all bets are off, folks. Just because your tires are heavy or your car is heavy, it's not going to mean much. Once you hit a spot or when you try to hit your brakes, you may start to slide around. We are in a very hillious area, and so a lot of hills around, and so you have to go up and down in some of those areas. Even some of your driveways, are straight down, and so trying to get into that or get out of that can be very tricky, so you want to give it some time. A lot of things are closed. Churches closed today, so you don't have to go out to worship this morning. Maybe you're able to do that right there online. Hopefully you still have power as well. And again, we talked about the effects of this lingering into next week because of the cold air that's going to be around our forecast area. Even after the precipitation is all done, we'll still be dealing with some very cold air. Those cold temperatures will just add into the impacts that we're going to be experiencing. I was just reading a little message from emergency management. They were talking about over into parts of Cherokee County where they're starting to hear the crackling of some of the limbs on the trees because of the weight that is on there. And we're only talking about maybe up to 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch of ice in that particular area, especially if you're talking about 1/10 of an inch. With that wind blowing around, that's going to help to break up some of those limbs. Eventually, that will start to affect whole trees, folks, and then eventually power lines as well. So by Monday, we're looking at that cold air moving in, and so that's what's going to create some issues for us as we go forward. So we're looking at a 23-degree start on Monday morning. A lot of schools are out so far, and you can get that list at our website as well, and also on our screen. You're also looking at 34 degrees for the high temperature. That's just above the freezing mark. That's all we'll get up to, despite the fact that we'll have the sunshine in place. So a very cold day for us, and that could linger into, and we may have to extend this into Tuesday morning because those temperatures will be down into the teens. Now, again, you factor in the winds with that, it's going to feel like the single digits out there. We'll rise to 40 for an afternoon high, 42 degrees for the high on Wednesday, but relatively cold. That's colder than the average, where we should be for this time of year, should be into the 50s. So we'll remain there as we head through the rest of the week. In fact, 39 degrees for the high temperature on Thursday. May have to extend it through there as well, right? And then as we head into the upcoming weekend, there was some hints that there could be a little bit of snow coming back our way. Now that has been wiped out, which is good news for now. Hopefully it doesn't come back because we don't want to do it. We don't want to see that. We're not even through this system yet, so I probably shouldn't even be talking about that, right? But just looking down the pike at what's coming your way. Folks, we'll be dealing with this freezing rain, sleet, as we head through the rest of the morning. It's only 5:19 right now, but as we go into the mid-morning and into early afternoon, we're expecting that rain to start to break up just a little bit. It will still be with us, but it'll be more of the scattered variety once we get to the afternoon. So we'll hold out till then. Guys, back to you.